Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Soviet Life, where we explore how growing up in the Soviet Union continues to shape lives long after its collapse. I'm your host, Kate Saba, and today I am thrilled to be joined by Alex Tokmin. Alex, or Alexei in Russian, was born in former Soviet Union and grew up in the 70s and 80s. He was born in Rostov-na-Donu, graduated from Rostov State University, and immigrated to the United States in 2012. I have known Alex for almost 12 years. We have met with his family while I was actually pregnant with my first child. So our friendship goes way, way back, and it's just really been a delight knowing him and his family. Alexei, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm so happy that you were able to join me. So let me first ask
My
you
pleasure.
about growing up in former Soviet Union. What are some of your early memories? Good, bad, doesn't matter. What are some of your thoughts? If somebody from United States or out west who's never been to USSR or that area ask you, what was life like growing up?
Well, it was childhood. Childhood is always happy. It doesn't matter. We were all poor, but we didn't know it. We just lived their lives, and
Yeah.
you have something to eat. You got friends. You can go out. You can spend time with friends, and I started to read pretty late. I was like 10 years old when I really got myself involved into this. And I was almost reading till I was before the army service, until I was 18.
Wow.
It was not like reading one or two books, just keep doing this. And it was different interests, or something like the classics. And then in a while, I remember actually it was a really fun story, great novel, Master and Margarita. Yeah, Mikhail Bulgakov, Master and Margarita.
There we
He
go.
actually he spent 18 years writing this, and it was never published when he was alive, and it was 4 different ending of the stories. So one night, my mom came from work and brought it was self-printed, just paper. She looked me in the eye and says, I need to take it back to work tomorrow morning. So I did not sleep. I just I closed the door in the kitchen, and I read, and it was finishing, and I was so driven by that.
Just to give my listeners an understanding of this, so Mikhail Bulgakov wrote this in 1928, between 1928 and 1940s, right during the times of Stalin oppression, and it was published posthumously in the censored version by his wife, Elena Bulgakova, in 1960, 66, 67. It was published, and it blends dark comedy, political satire, and a lot of the Christian philosophy. It is challenging Soviet regime. It is challenging Soviet atheism, and it exposes a lot of corruption, while also featuring a parallel story of Pontius Pilate and a life story between Master and Margarita. So it's a classic that everybody, especially after the fall of the Soviet Union, had to read. So I'm really glad you're bringing this up so we can let the audience know.
Some reference even says this is the novel of 20th century, the best one.
Yes.
Or so they say. So it was a lot of farce. It was a lot of funny moments about the one of the characters is the cat, and it's size of a little person and very mean person. It's all the devil's entourage was really mean and really funny. And then it was Soviet Union after 1991, and I finally bought the book. And I read the book. It says something is wrong. It's too short.
Really?
Yes, it was 30% shorter than what my mom brought me.
Interesting, because your mom bought the
10
censored
years
copy.
before.
Yeah, your mom
And
bought a
then
censored copy.
later, 10 years later, like, so the 20 years before I read it the first time, I finally read it in full again. It's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
this one is good. And because of this is like, it was always started, and like talking in the kitchen, because it's
Yeah,
all people whispering. I remember how my grandma, she was always terrified if I would say something in a street, or somebody will overhear what I would say, because my grandfather, it was another funny story. He was a Communist Party member. I mean, almost everybody
funny.
did. And he
Yeah.
was a military guy, so it was
Oh,
a
even
must.
more. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
The
quadruple.
problem was, he was with Communist Party 2 years longer than Brezhnev. So
Really?
when Brezhnev decided to have his 50 years in Communist Party medal, my
Wow.
grandfather got it before. So
Wow. That's that's
yeah,
amazing. Tell me about
Brezhnev was a really fun guy, because he was what? He was like 5 times of hero of Soviet Union, and 1 time of hero of socialist labor, so something like this.
it.
Yeah,
He has
and
so many
he
medals.
really loved it. And every time it was his birthday, he says like, "Oh, I want to be like, you know." And he was a um, he wrote. I would. He was probably. It was not even telling anybody. It was like um, credited to him, because like he was like some kind of guy wrote the like it was three or four little books about the war. Brezhnev was the colonel of like Soviet Union army, and spent some time in Novorossiysk. It was the like a little land, Malaya Zemlya.
Yeah.
Yeah, the territory. I've been there a few times, and I've read about it. And of course, we learn about all this heroic, culture by by Brezhnev. And it's
Yeah.
like, but every time I hear him talking, like I remember, it was, oh my God, he had like the problem speaking, and it was like it was horrible. It was a lot of jokes about that, and people were all talking about this. And
I'm glad you bring this up because I'm thinking right away when we're talking about Brezhnev and his medals, it sounds kind of vain that he was so much into medals. And if you look at the pictures, he has so many medals. I wonder how he can walk. It's solid medal
yeah,
after medal. It's pretty heavy. But I think it also shows not only him, but the entire political culture. So Brezhnev was
yeah, and
president of
everybody wanted
Germany.
like him. Like, okay,
Yes,
Brezhnev has
everybody.
so many,
It's
so
so
like, why don't I
theatrical.
have some?
He awarded
Yeah.
himself Hero of the Soviet Union medals, Order of Victory. I mean, it's just even after his death, a particular award was actually revoked because it didn't meet the criteria. But it's just he came up with so many ways to give himself medals, and people that were around him. Yeah, and he was also
Right.
known for the
Yeah.
era of
And it
stagnation.
was a bunch of people. Yeah, and he was very forgetful about like this and that.
Hmm.
There was like a lot of stories about all his like chronicle forgetfulness about stuff. And he was like, remember why this guy is not present on a session of the Communist Party? As like Leonid Ilyich, he died yesterday. Well, it's not an excuse.
Cool.
It was a joke, yeah, but it was a bunch of jokes about him.
You know.
So it was really fun. Well, I remember my childhood. We were like playing outside, and I grown up in the south of the country. So in Russia, it's still cold in the winter, but like summer was pretty hot. We're very close climate conditions. Like I live in Washington D.C. right now, so it's very close. Maybe much more snow during the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, like during summer, it was pretty hot. So we were playing outside, like as long as you can do it,
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Yeah,
uh,
and then like so, I remember myself playing outside. School was probably it was the worst school in my Well, you can't. You just can't choose your school. It's across the street. So
Yeah, you don't even
my
have a
mom used to
choice.
say it was her favorite joke. Uh, I have to be in school 8 a.m. in the morning. So I was leaving to school 10 minutes to 8, and I was in school 10 minutes to 8. So it was like
Well,
three
I'm
three
jealous because I
steps,
had
and
to
and
get
I
to
was in the
school
school.
before
Yeah,
8, and I got
yeah.
there. Yeah, it took me 10
Unfortunately,
minutes to walk. That was my big complaint, that it's so far away. I have to walk 10 minutes.
yeah. So education was absolutely, well, it was probably the worst school, but still, it was like, you want to do something? Okay, read a book. We had libraries, we had home libraries. Some friends have books, and I was jumping here and there. Uh, of course, it was a lot of books which was not allowed. They were not approved by the government, but people still have them, including the authorities. But
Yes.
if you can have this book, you just have this book. So one of my friends, I'm not sure he was my friend, but we were like play. He was like my neighbor,
Hmm.
uh, and they have a library. So they had like in Soviet Union, they didn't count bedrooms. It was how many rooms.
Correct.
So I lived in 2-room apartment, and that guy, he lived in 4-room apartment. So one
Wow.
of the rooms was
Wow.
the library.
Lucky. That's a
Yeah.
luxury.
So I was like coming. Once I just came, I looked around in that room. So the room was usually closed. So
Hmm.
people don't look judgmentally,
Yes.
because like, yeah, you need to get all these books. It's a lot of books. And it was very old house with the top ceilings and
Wow.
really big apartment. So that room was big. And I got inside, and it was one window, one door, and all other space was shelves from floor to
Wow.
ceiling with
Wow.
all of this. And I
I
was like,
know it's a pride.
oh,
It's a
can,
pride.
can I just, so his mom, it was funny, for like next 3 or 4 years I was living in that room, and his
Wow.
mom, she was bringing me hot chocolate and
Oh,
some
nice.
cookies. And her son who has total access to this, he was just playing outside,
Taking
playing
advantage of
playing
this. Just
soccer
taking
and
it for granted.
hockey. Yeah, and I was like sitting, like I was like, I can't leave until
You're in
until I
paradise.
I just consumed that library.
Wow.
And by
Wow.
the end, I was probably 15 or 16 years old, living there like 3 years. And every time after that I saw a woman, I was so grateful. I gave her hugs and like, thank you so much. You gave me so much education. So it was not actually school. And then some, I, I don't know, it was a miracle how I got into the university. It was like physics department. It was like pretty hard.
So you got
So
actually
I
far.
barely overstepped, like get inside. And then
Wow.
they said, well, education here, we can teach you how to learn. Do you
Well,
want to learn something? Okay, you just go to the library, pick up a book and read.
and learn. Exactly.
Yeah. And I said, oh, it's not that hard,
So
right?
what was your
And I
major?
like to read.
Was
Yeah.
it
And it was
physics major?
like I specialized in semiconductors, and it was
Wow.
like about like all of this. And
Hmm.
I used to work in IBM then, like later,
Wow.
for 6 or 7 years. Yeah, and it helped a lot, and people people like really, uh, and because I actually I keep learning. If I have some spare time, I'm just
Yes.
it's like YouTube video to learn how to do this. And
Hmm.
because once I moved to United States, it was like another funny story. Something was wrong with the electrics inside, and I was like, okay, I'm a director of software development and IT of like some company. I had like 45, 50 people working for me, so like I should totally
Figure it
hire
out,
an
right? I can figure
electrician,
this
and
out.
the guy will do the job, and because like I'm busy, right?
Yes.
So the guy came, look around, and gave me an estimate, and it was like around $12,000. So like,
Wow.
what?
Whoa.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I just and because I'm pretty familiar with
Like about
how
the
electricity
electricity
works,
works.
I just it was not much like wiring change, but you need to like it was like changing the fuse box and the other stuff.
Mm.
Took me like couple of weekends, and I saved. Well, I would still need to buy all the equipment, but I probably saved good like $9,000 in labor.
Wow. That's impressive. That, that is so awesome. I love that story. Wow.
Yeah,
So
you just
you
don't be scared. Like I mean, if you want to save some money, like you just do it.
exactly. Do it
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah, very resourceful. I interviewed somebody who, yeah, my previous episode who was traveled to Russia and he was invited to the laboratory and the scientists there actually build their own equipment that would measure cell amplitude just so they can do their scientific research. It was just amazing how resourceful those people were. What we have right now in the lab, all the state of the art equipment that costs millions of dollars. Back then, a lot of the scientists they didn't have resources. They didn't have the money to buy the
No.
equipment. They
Yeah.
built all the scientific equipment that they had. They were actually building it themselves without having even a physics background, like actual official. Of course, everybody had to study physics,
Well,
as
you
you
read the
know.
book, and
You
yeah.
read the book, and exactly, you go to the library or your friend's house who has a library, and you build this. Absolutely. Wow.
It was another funny story about a bunch of physicists. I was a part of the small group of people from physics department. We came to some kind of it was not symposium or something. It was some kind of educational program in Sochi
Mhm.
long time ago. So we had like couple of people with PhD and the other people like pretty well educated with like achievements, this published
Mhm.
papers. So after the official part, we went to the beach and decided to open up the bottle of wine. And we didn't have the corkscrew. So it was like how to open the bottle. The guy not homeless, but like pretty poor, like alcoholic. You can tell. So he looks and says like, "Oh, guys, like if you give
You
me a
need
little
help.
bit, I can open a bottle for you." So he removed his shoe, uh, turned on the side the bottle and hit it from the back, and
What?
all of a sudden the
Wow.
cork get out, and he looks and says like, "Learn physics." So he
No.
sipped a little bit from the bottle and he left. And
Wow.
this story was like we keep laughing about this for like when we talk right now, we still remember that guy. It's been
Wow.
20, 25 years
Wow. I'm
ago.
sure he's not the only
Still
guy.
remember. So mostly the guys with PhD, they were like really
Impressed.
yeah, people were really humble. Learn
Yeah.
physics.
Yeah, wow, that's
Yeah, stuff
amazing.
like that.
Speaking of alcohol, I know it's been a real problem in Russia for years, especially after World War II. I know a friend of mine who was actually building a house in the suburbs of Minsk in Belarus, and he didn't have a lot of finance. I mean, everybody was, I wouldn't say poor, but nobody really had the capital to build something. So he either had to do it yourself or know somebody or will take you forever. So he actually would hire people and he would pay them with vodka to
Oh
work.
my God,
They
yeah,
would work all
that
day
is.
to put the bricks down to build a house, and the payment was a bottle of vodka. So at the end of the day, they could have the
In
vodka.
in my
Save it.
days, it was
Yeah,
called vodka was called liquid currency.
like that.
So
It's a no
if
joke.
you need to like
Sadly,
yeah, and
yeah,
people say like if you have a bottle, yeah, we keep working. And
yeah,
people, I know a lot of people, brilliant people, they like drunk their lives to
yeah.
the
No,
to the
it's
grave,
so
which
unfortunate.
is
So
really big shame.
Yeah.
My wife, former boss, the brilliant guy. When I met the guy first, we were way younger. He is probably like 1 year older than me. And it was, I've met the guy like 30 years ago. He did not have the phone book. So to
Mm.
call somebody, he just
Mhm.
remembered the phone. And it
Memorize it.
was,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and he was a business owner. So it was a bunch of
No
phones.
way.
He was just remembering. But he drank a bottle of vodka a day. A few years, well, few years. He died, he was 51. So he died like, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago.
Mm. So sad to such a great
Completely,
mind.
yeah.
Wow. Unfortunately, so many stories like that. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
People smoked, people been drinking, and it was a big problem. Not everybody. So it's a common misconception. People say, "Oh, Russians are cold drink," and saying about Russians, people usually mostly before the Russia-Ukraine conflict, people like assumed Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian,
All the same.
Uzbekistan,
All the
Lithuania.
same.
Oh, it's Russian guy. Yeah, he's from Russia. Lithuanians, they always are like, no, I'm not Russian.
I'm from Belarus, and I tell most people, just because I grew up, Belarus was part of the Soviet Union. We were one country. So when I go
Yeah,
somewhere, I say I'm from Russia. And then, of course, as they get to know me, I say you're actually from Belarus, but I still consider myself Russian just because we spoke Russian. Everything,
yeah.
culture was the same. The buildings were the same. Everything was so standardized and so uniform that to me, it just, it didn't really matter. It's just an example I give. If I'm in Virginia right now and Virginia separates tomorrow and becomes a separate country, 5 years from now, I'm not going to travel somewhere and say, well, I'm actually from Virginia. I'm going to say, I'm from the United States because that was part of that country at that
Yeah.
time. So I still introduce myself like that.
Sometimes
And
it's
people that are
hard to
younger,
explain.
in
You live
Virginia,
in
yeah,
Virginia. Where do you live in Virginia? Yeah, I
yeah,
usually say
exactly,
like I live in Washington, D.C.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I wanted to ask you about Rostov-na-Donu. It's I've never been there. It's and just to let my listeners know,
You didn't
Rostov-na-Danu is.
lose much.
No, I do want need to go to travel and see more.
Nice
But it
people.
sits on Don River and it's near Sea Azov Sea. So it was
Yes,
actually one of
very
the major
close.
ports, transportation hub. It was a very strategic military point, especially during the World War. And they actually saying
That's
that
why it was lost twice.
yes, yeah. So it was. There's a lot of big battles. There's actually they
Yeah.
say that Rostov-na-Donu changed hands twice during the war, like you
There is
said,
a
something that's very
picture,
major.
yeah. There is
Yeah.
a picture right after the war, the picture taken from railway station towards the center, like the downtown. And there is not a single house there. It was all ruins, like everything.
Same with Belarus because the Germans were going from Poland
Yeah,
straight. It was wiped. I mean, there was demolished to the ground. Rostov-na-Donu is a southern city, so it's much warmer climate. It has a little bit more, has a strong Cossack heritage. Have you noticed that? Do you see a difference there? Is it big, uh,
good
like a big
friend
food,
of
food
mine.
culture?
He was a son of the Kazakh Ataman. He was like the chief
Mhm.
of the Cossacks, and he was like real deal.
Wow. Wow.
People they lived in Aksai. Aksai is it's really a suburban of Rostov. It's like talking about Rostov, like Aksai. It's not even 2 kilometers away from the city limits. And every time we go in there, they had horses, and they were like, yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
yeah.
So you immigrated to United States. Initially you came to America in early 2000s. What
Yeah, I
brought you
came in
to?
2000, and I probably left 2002. It's hard to explain, but I just left, and then
Yeah.
I came back. I worked in a couple of companies, and then IBM picked me up, and after I spent some time in IBM and traveling the world, and this and that, and there is a joke that if you in IBM conference room, if it's more than 3 people, you should speak English because probably one of them would I was many time in Vienna, Austria. It was like 40,000 people. IBM that time, I just want to explain, IBM was like 500,000 people. And then 2012, 2013 was about 25%, and then another year, another 25% was restructured. I don't know. I hope they're still doing good because like I was very proud. It was like good culture, good people, good intentions, and it was second time I needed to use so like talking to people, and somebody recommended me like you need to learn psychology to talk to people, to like just for sales point. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I read couple of books, and then
there you go. You went to the books.
I was really interested, and then I befriended the guy. He was a big deal. Mikhail Litvak. He died a while ago, and he was a good mentor and talking. He actually, his life story. He was helping people. He was doing it mostly not really for money, but he got a bunch of people after rehabilitation, after the like rehab, after they like been drinking, and some divorced women who wanted to find the better life, and he noticed some of the women. She said, "Oh, I would like to get married again." And in that little group, she again chose an alcoholic, and he says, "Like, what are you doing with your life?" And says, "Like, I like this guy, but this is the psychotype, you know."
Yeah.
So she just was really into the alcoholics. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, I mean, those people, they became abusive and something.
Yeah, I find it a common theme. A lot of them are trying to be helpful. A lot of the people from our area or from the Soviet Union, there's just so many that are genuinely trying to help. Was that something you noticed too? Or is that just me?
Yes, exactly. And a lot of the people who learn psychology, they more or less just use it every day. It's like the families are victims of constant psychoanalysis. It's not exactly the huge science. The funny part is there is a European psychology, which is mostly Schopenhauer school, which is like a German school. So Litvak was the followers of the like Schopenhauer psychology. And then I arrived to the United States. I've met a woman. She was a professor in George Washington University. She was psychology professor. And we were talking, and I said, I have some background. And she looked at me and said, I can sense that you're doing something. I don't know what you're doing. And I said, well, because my background is European school, like Schopenhauer school. Oh, so this is completely different. United States has different approach, and it's a different way of doing things. So if you want to learn, I can recommend you some books, but it's completely different story. Very interesting. Yeah.
I'm impressed that Mikhail Litvak, he's actually, just for the listeners to be aware, he is a Russian psychotherapist and psychologist who is known across the post-Soviet space for communication psychology, and what they called is psychological Aikido. So he was born in the 30s. He was born in the 30s, and he actually practiced in your townhome at Rostov-na-Donu. And he was the founder of the Cross Club psychological training system, and of course, author of many.
I was a member.
So wow, this is very interesting. Yeah, yeah, he was especially popular in the 90s and 2000s when people from the former USSR were searching for new psychological framework after the collapse of the.
Mostly seeking for help, because it was like sometimes you have problem with your life, problem at work, you have a bad boss, or you think so.
Yes.
And then you just realize it was not really boss, it's you.
Yeah. his core ideas was that you stop fighting reality, because obviously you can't do anything about it. The country fell apart. It's not your fault. You just gotta stop
Yeah.
fighting. Let's take responsibility. And he emphasized taking control of your life and stop blaming others. There's so much growing up. There's constant blame. There's always finding who is responsible, whose fault it is. It started from the Stalinist times, when things were
Oh,
not working out in the Soviet Union in the early times, because of course it wasn't going to work out in the Soviet system. So Stalin was trying to
yeah.
find the scapegoat and blaming the anti-communists, during the Civil War, all those bourgeois or the people that were against the
It was
Soviet Union. So you have
non-communist
that
people.
culture. Yeah, so the non-communist people, exactly. Anybody who is against the communists, which he found people. So there's always this blaming and shaming constantly. And then his other part was you don't want to chase people. So he famously said, if you're interested in self-sufficient, and if you're interested in self-sufficient, people will come to you. And this psychology was so embedded in our culture. When I came to the United States and I was in college and they were prepping you to go to the real world and get a job, and you were supposed to answer any question like, why should I hire you? And you're supposed to say, because I am such and such good worker, I know this, I know that, and basically give yourself some kudos. I could not do it for the life of me. That was the hardest part for me in America,
Yeah.
is to that, because I still
You
had
need to
that
be
psychology
modest.
where I am going to be modest, but not only that, I'm going to work so hard. But you had to work so hard. You had to prove with your work ethic that you are really worthy of the big companies to call you. So you should be chased, basically,
Yeah, why
not
should
have
I hire
you.
you? Why shouldn't I
Yes.
hire somebody else?
So then you would say, well, yeah, why should you hire me? Look at my track record. So that was the psychology. And then the last thing, he wanted to have people have emotional independence. Much of his work was focused on not being manipulated by other moods. So if somebody's in a bad mood, you're just maintaining your cool. And I think those are really core principles that I, to the day, think are
Well,
really
people were very suppressed by the Communist Party, and like any ideas, you need to read, you need to learn it. When I was in school, we studied the history of Communist Party of Soviet Union, and it's like all of this, and people were. It was before my time when Nikita Khrushchev, who picked up the
the shoe.
yeah. No, not that one. Yeah, I was talking about like not when he was in United Nations, pick up his shoes. Like I'll show you,
Yeah.
people. Everybody was, oh my God, is he serious? And it was a big shame. Everybody's like, how horrible is it? Like, so everybody in the world will think that all Russians are so stupid they can just bully people, and it was not cool.
No, that's not. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
but it
Well,
was
yes,
my
I didn't.
mom told me the stories about like during Khrushchev. It was the first. Uh, they call it the Khrushchev's melting, the snow melting. When
Mhm.
it was allowed, it was the international conference of. So a lot of foreign people arrived to Moscow, and of course it was really watching from what it was, KGB or like NKVD. There was same organization with different names, but they were really watching what people do. And it was a lot of people coming from different countries to Moscow, and people didn't speak English. It was uh, another funny story about my English. When I studied in school, my mom decided in the end of the school, she's like, they'll just kick you out from university because you will never pass the test. So she hired me private tutor to study English, and it was just 2 years.
Mhm.
And at the end of 2 years, she was like so happy with me. I was like, "Oh, he's so talented. It's so amazing. This guy, your son, he's supposed to speak 5 languages. It's so a shame that we're talking. I graduated school. It was 86, so it was way before. It was maybe Gorbachev, but
Yes.
not much. So it's just like probably he would never speak to the any foreign person ever in his life because it was Iron Curtains. Like, you cannot leave the country, and so nobody can come here. Or, like so,
Right.
encounter any talk to anybody was
Yes, unheard of.
and everybody is like a foreigner, is a spy, or like something like this.
Yeah.
It's not just people. It was
Yeah,
it
no,
was
I
something.
remember it was so hard. That's why I asked people, how did you make it to the United States? Because it's not like you can just buy a ticket and go to embassy and get a visa and fly in. It's always, even after the fall of the USSR, it still is, well, right now is the war, it's impossible, but even in the 2000s, like early 2000s, 2020s, it's just always been very hard to come here to America from that side of the world.
Yeah, and then you come to the United States and you realize this is not the language you studied at school.
Oh yeah, totally different. Yeah, I came. I mean, I had enough of a
Because
big
nobody
vibe.
cared about American English. It was like, you learn British English.
British.
You need to speak British English.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
Interesting.
it was rules. I remember that like that teacher, her name was Maria Artyomovna. I don't remember the last name. She gave me an excellent grammar structure, how the sentence should look, how like all the forms of questions, even the one we don't use in the United States, the disjunctive question. A lot of good British actors like Jason Statham, he speaks Cockney. There are 3 levels of Cockney actually. The one is an accent and a rhyme, and then when they don't want you to understand anything, they just turn the hardest part. And
What is the Cockney? How do you spell it?
Cockney, it's an accent. They originally from the South London. It's a very popular dialect right now. A lot of people in Great Britain, they speak Cockney. But originally it was the South London.
And yeah, so like
Cockney dialect. Great Britain has 57 dialects.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah,
But what
the
I
United States has 16.
Wow, I didn't know that part either. Wow, you're teaching me here. Wow, the Cockney accent.
I really like the language, and
wow,
it's really fun to learn.
You know, I have some friends from Great Britain, and I have a hard time understanding them because they do speak with that Cockney accent where, like, for example, if you have a house, you drop the first H. So you usually say house instead of house.
Not just that.
And that's just one example, yeah. So that's
one of the examples, like, when you ask, like, what's the time, and time rhymes with, like, lemon and lime. So, and for some reason, they completely drop the rhyme word.
Yeah.
Lime. Wow. So Cockney, they ask, like, what's the lemon? So what time is it?
Oh my gosh.
And if you just don't know this.
I feel bad. No, I don't feel bad that I don't really understood it. I have somebody from Great Britain. I have a really hard time understanding that. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
And it's hard until you meet the guy from Scotland. And then and it's still English.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, I'm really, really impressed. So you IT, semiconductor degree, then you got into psychology.
No, I have a degree in physics.
On your own.
Just in physics, yeah. Semiconductors is my specialty.
Well, how modest. I'm just physics and just have this little specialty to semiconductor. And then knowing about these accents and the languages. Wow.
I still have thick Russian accent. Every time people, because I came, I was like, first time I was like, what? I was like 30.
Wow.
So it's gone.
Yeah. So I ask everybody this question. There are a couple of questions I'm going to ask you that I always ask people on my interviews. So one of them is, tell me, where were you when the Soviet Union fell apart? How did you find out about the news? Did somebody call you, tell you? How did the news come to you? What did you feel like? Do you remember? Did you just hear it on TV? Did somebody tell you? Like, when did
I completely, because Did it
ever
I got a job. I completely missed it. It was like, okay, Soviet Union fall apart, but nothing changed, right?
So how was that thought process where you realize that there's no more Soviet Union? Like, we don't exist anymore. We're done.
We did.
We did exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we did. And like.
And what did you think? Good, bad? Were you sad, or were you happy, looking forward to the bright future of building
it was
society?
Soviet Union had a lot of, so it was pros and cons. So like cons were like you on constant surveillance. You can't say something, so you need to really watch what you're talking about. One of the people, again, because like all my background, I was like talking to one of the guys, the foreigners, and they said, well, you had huge advantage because you have the whole energy backup system. So what are you talking about?
What is he
Well,
talking about?
if one nuclear power station is down, you can just get the energy from another source. And after Soviet Union fall apart, it was some kind of negotiations between the different entities of the energy suppliers. But before in Soviet Union, it was a lot of time when it was just turned off, but not because it was a problem, because in Soviet Union, it was not enough energy generated for people. And it's like, who cares about people? Yeah, and like some people, they didn't have energy, so
Unfortunately, politics were, you're right on as far as politicians and politics, they didn't care about people. It was
probably, yeah,
sadly,
it's
so
very
corrupted.
international. It's not.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the United States, there is like some different stuff. Like in Soviet Union, it was the complete stealing. So like people just steal from the country because this is it's not someone else's. That's
It's a fact.
that's the country's property, so I can just get it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in the United States, we have lobby. So some people, they come and they just pay politicians to say something. Yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have a big battles right now about the used to call global warming. Now it says climate change, and now we realize like, is climate changing? Yes, it does, and we part of this, like because we have so many
Yeah,
factories and we have like all this emission. Yes, yeah, we are part of this. How big is the part? Maybe 1%, maybe 4. So, and
wow.
like, keep in mind, if the total West world stop doing like completely stop producing anything, so we stop polluting, even like switch to electric cars and like everybody, we still have China, and they do
Yeah,
good job polluting for all
yeah.
of us.
For the make it up for everybody
And as
else.
long as we cannot stop,
I know,
a
I
lot
know.
of pollution comes from the ocean. People, yeah.
Don't realize that. Yeah.
No, it's yeah. A lot of volcanoes are on the ocean floor, and during eruption, it's like another pollution, and this and
Yeah.
we have a lot of active volcanoes, and I was we have like a super volcano in Yellowstone.
Yeah, I know that. I've
That
heard about
one,
that.
if this one will erupt, which uh, usually does like every 600,000 years or so, yeah, we
Yeah.
should be in a big trouble.
Something. Yeah, I know. Well, let's pray it doesn't happen in our lifetimes.
Well, yeah, what you gonna do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Keep
Wow.
in mind that dinosaurs, they roam the planet for what, 260 million years, and it's been like 50 million how they gone. So if it's not
Yeah.
nobody knows exactly what happened, about what event completely
Yeah.
erased dinosaurs from the planet and
Yeah.
turned into
Same.
chicken.
Yeah.
Some
Hey,
people
we
love
gotta
that.
adopt. Yeah,
Yeah, so
we
they
gotta
would
adopt. It's like
still be around, and I don't know if we would be around if dinosaurs.
that's right. Yeah, no, you made your point. Definitely have to adapt. Things fall apart. We have the adaptive mindset. So when you first came to United States, you said you liked the first time you liked it, and then you returned back,
I
and
still
then
like it. It's my
you still
home.
like, obviously, yes.
Yeah. When
What
people ask me like, "Do you often go back home?" I said like, "I'm home.
exactly, exactly.
Yes, this is my
That's how I
home.
feel
I don't want to
too.
leave. It's fine."
How would you describe to a Westerner or somebody here in America as to, because I do get these questions too, and I explain it as well, as to, well, why don't you go back home? What was so bad, or what draws you here? What do you have here in America that you don't have back home that makes you want to stay here?
Well, when I left first time, it was a bunch of different situation. I really did not like when the police officer stop you when you drive the car and says like he wants a small bribe and he doesn't care
Mhm.
if you didn't break the law or you did. And it's like,
Yeah,
it was like,
corruption,
seriously?
corruption.
And
Yes.
like anything you need to do, like, for instance, if you have the single family house, which were not many
Mhm.
people did,
Yeah,
and you want to build something, you need to have like a permit to build.
yeah.
And then they give you regulations, and people were laughing about that and says like the regulation means you can build a house, but we want to make sure you're not happy inside. Yeah,
Wow,
so, and I
wow.
came here, I have much bigger house than when I
It,
used to live
things
in. Yeah,
things
and it's,
follow law and order here, and that's something I want to
yeah,
point
and
out
I
to the
would
listeners to
never
see why. Yes.
in a like a nightmare. I didn't want to bribe a policeman for any reason.
For,
It didn't
oh,
come
that's
to
a
my
great
mind.
analogy.
So
That really
and people say
explains it
like,
so
oh,
well.
would
Yes.
you like to go back? And people who live there right now, because I haven't been since 2012, probably a lot of things changed. It's been like, I don't know, many years. And people say, oh, it's long gone. Nobody wants your little bribe. And I say like, what? They want bigger one or what is it?
Your daughter made a choice to study and in Russia, so she's finishing up university in Russia. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What was her? She's a U.S. citizen, and so she's dual
Yes,
citizen, but she
she
chose
is.
to get her
Okay, so
undergraduate degree in Russia.
she is very different from everybody else in the family. She's an artist. Well, you know Veronica, right?
Yes,
So she participated, like writing the
yes, she is
sketches
actually a
book
fantastic artist.
for your
I
children's
can
book.
vouch for that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
and well, when she was in after school activities, like here in the United States, she was doing all this. So she was going to the like swimming pool, like the classes. She really liked to draw, make pictures, and then she was like growing up, and she's like, I want to do this.
She has a
And I said
definitely
like,
talent for that.
well,
Really
I
has a
don't know what to say because like
Mhm.
here, anywhere in Virginia, there is nothing like this. So
Mhm.
you probably need to go to New York School of Fine Arts or something like
Right.
this, like, or look for. I even found her a school in Italy, in Tuscany,
Mhm.
and it was pretty cheap
Mhm.
compared to local
Compared to
education.
this, yeah.
She speaks pretty decent Spanish, so she
Yeah.
studies
Wow.
French, and she says
She
like,
must
"Oh,
take it up from her dad.
I'll learn
She must
Italian."
take it from her
And
dad.
it was like a lot of jokes about that part, and like, and then she says, "Well, maybe I just go to Russia. They have like free education, and you just go get good education in Russia." It's like, okay, let's look what's coming from
What's
that.
out
And
there? Mhm. Correct.
recently, I want to just show off a little bit. Well, I'm a father, right? I'm allowed to. Yeah, yeah. It was this exam session this winter. It was like 140 people in a class, and of course they take like three pictures, the best pictures from the class. And my wife, she really liked that picture. She already bought a frame to frame it and put it somewhere in the house. So my daughter comes and is like, I have a bad news for you. So they took the
So,
picture.
because she got the
Because
first
it's,
place.
yeah, because it was one of like three pictures they select and put in archive or exhibit somewhere. So
All
yeah,
right.
I'm very proud.
I'm sure as a mother, she was okay. Was that? We'll save that frame for
I
another
don't
time.
know. You would need to ask her.
Really? Well, that's awesome. So, does she have plans to come back here, or kind of wait and see what happens. But she seems like she's doing well.
When we lived here, they traveled a lot, so they
I know
spend a
they go
lot of
back and
time.
forth.
Yeah, so my daughters is like, I really hate all this. And right now, to get to my hometown in Russia, you need like 3 days.
Yes,
There is
yes.
no airport because
Fly
of
into
the
Moscow, and then you gotta.
military, all this
Wow.
situation in Rostov. So you need to fly to Istanbul, then you need to fly from Istanbul to Moscow, and then you take a train from Moscow to, and it's
Yeah.
all, and the time difference altogether is like close to 3 days one way.
Wow. 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 Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let
So I
me.
don't know, like I really miss her, and like
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
yeah,
I
she's
bet.
busy
Yeah,
sometimes.
she'll come visit you soon. Don't worry. So I think
Oh,
she's got what, a
thank
year
you.
or
Yeah,
two,
I
a
hope
year or two left to graduate. So, but no, when I had just to let my listeners know, she is a really amazing artist. She was over when I remember when she was 12 or 13, and she had a sketch of a portrait. That portrait looked like a picture. That mean I still have that. We saved it. We put it in a special place so we don't lose that. Was her signature. So when she becomes, well, no, that's gonna be worse. So my kids to the day were so impressed just with her drawings. And then again, that's when she was like 13. Then whenever we talk about Veronica, they don't call her Veronica. They call her the artist. They call her the artist. So they
yeah.
always asking, when is the artist gonna come visit us?
Oh, another funny story. I was in Amsterdam a while ago, and I went to Van Gogh Museum, and I
Hmm.
took a lot of pictures, created an album, and sent it to her. And it was, of course, like a naturemort. There was like a plate and a couple of apples, and a vase, and a flower, and water in the vase, and something like this. And
Hmm.
my daughter says, like, how much is this picture? So like, well, it's Longo, it's probably priceless. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know,
a couple of
5
million.
million, 10 million is like, I
Yeah, I don't
can,
look that
I
up.
can make the same one. Can get like $10,000. I need for this, and this.
Something. Isn't that amazing? Well, someday, tell her someday. Just keep working.
Probably.
Yeah.
Somebody told me to sell good, the artist should die, which probably I
Oh,
don't really like this idea.
yeah. No, I don't like that idea. No, I think she's gonna do well without way before that,
I
with her
hope so.
talent. I mean, look at her now winning the competitions and all. I wanted to ask you another question that I usually ask the listeners. Is there anything from the Soviet Union that you miss? If you were to be where you're
My
at,
childhood,
and you could
those
cherry pick,
blessed years.
not
I
just the
had
childhood, but like
friends.
what part of the Soviet Union you could, if you could cherry pick something from from those times to bring here right now, what would it be?
Food,
Hey,
food.
I'm
Right
into
now,
that.
if I am
Yes,
fortunate enough to go and buy food from Amish, it's
yes,
Mechanicsville, Maryland, 1 hour drive, one way. The
yes.
eggs, chicken, sour
Mm,
cream, milk,
made from scratch,
cheese.
everything. Yeah, non
It
processed.
tastes like childhood. It's like it's
Yes,
unbelievable because the
100%.
the quality of food in the United States is very
Very high, very lot
so-so.
of processed. Yeah, very lot of processed.
That's
A lot
why I
of
bake my own bread
yeah.
for like 10 years, maybe longer. I do my own yogurt and like I'm trying to cook.
I know you used to make bread. You make your own,
I
made your own
still,
bread.
yeah, I
Still
don't
do.
buy bread.
Wow. You put me to shame now.
Why?
I don't make my own. I don't make my own bread.
I'll buy you I'll buy you a bread maker.
No, the sad part is I have a bread maker. But you know what? I
Oh,
gotta give
okay.
myself credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta give. Just don't have time. But I gotta give myself credit. I try to make food from scratch and all. But yeah, no, I listen. It's
I
just
have like
friends of
a good
mine.
friend of mine. The guy, he is a immigrant from China, Alan, and he used to say like, Alex, life is short. Buy a rice cooker.
That I have a rice cooker, by the way. At least Simon was a program there, and I
I
use
do
it.
have a rice
But
cooker.
that's my next step. You motivated me. My next step is to make my own bread from scratch. So I'm not too lazy, and I'm not
Yeah, just make a bread.
going there buying bread. I know.
I
I
can
know. I
show
want
you.
to
It's
give a
like
long list
it's
of
not
other things
much.
that
You
I
just
need to do.
and the taste is so good. It's crazy.
Wow. So what food do you miss from the USSR? What is like, give me top three that you miss. I know it's a long list that I can give you, but let's do top three.
Well, okay. So
If you were to pick
I
right
was
now, that
born
you
and
can only
raised.
get those three.
No, no, no. Okay, it needs like prehistory about that. So I was born and raised in the district name was Nakhichevan. So it was a lot of Armenians came when Catherine the Great
Mm-hmm.
allowed them to leave the country because it was genocide
Armenian
from
genocide.
Azerbaijan. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
like some estimates like 250,000 people, Armenian families, they still live and they still speak that language because
Wow.
right now when they go to Armenia, they talk to them and don't really understand each other. So I like some like I don't know how because I never tried it outside the like it could be in Armenia, could be so hash. It's the very fat. Uh, I'm not sure it's pork. I think it's beef, but it's like a lot of meat and it's like a stew.
Is it? It's
It
not
is
plov. It's not plov.
no, 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 no. There is
No.
no rice there. So
No.
that's one. And then uh, a bunch of the made hachapuri and chibureki and all of
Bureki, yes.
this. So probably you can get it somewhere here. And it's like it's all produced right in front of you. So like it's a line of people. They standing with money, waiting until the cheburek is ready, and they just pull it. It's like a big chunk of oil, like it was like sunseed oil or something,
Yeah.
and they like boil him like oil, and they put this inside and like make it like turn around. In a while they just pick it up, give it to you, you
Yeah. And
give the money and you have it,
yeah.
and it's unbelievable. I
To
already
explain
have like
to
my mouth is
Americans,
full of saliva.
Chiburek, just to explain to my listeners, it's like, it's, if you would imagine like a giant crispy empanada, it's or pierogi. So it's a variation of that where it's a little bit flatter, it's juicy on the inside, and it's usually fried. So it's just a variation of the Polish pierogi, or we call it pierogi.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's coming from the Armenian, from the southern side. Was it spicy at all? Wow. I'm always thinking like Georgian,
Or
Azeri, and
maybe
Armenian.
I
That's
just
real spicy
think
mix
it's
is
not
important.
spicy, but it is.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
People in the
Interesting.
south, when it's hot in the street, people tend to eat spicy food because the meat is spoiled and the food is
In,
getting spoiled very quickly.
yeah.
So you
Yeah.
need to come
Yeah.
up with like
When,
different
yeah. You're
peppers and
right.
like different spices.
Exactly. Even now to the day, if I make food, I don't leave leftovers. I eat it and then just the next day. So I don't pre-cook. It's just again cultural thing.
Yes,
We
it's
cook the
just
same
not
day,
good
eat it. Yeah. So although
unless it's borscht. Borscht
somebody
is
can
better next
the
day.
next day, yeah, that's right. You mentioned Armenian hash. So I just want to let the listeners know it's a traditional Armenian dish, which is very rich. It's a slow cooked soup made primarily from cow's feet, and
Yeah,
it's less about the recipe. And the recipe varies depending on who's
yeah,
cooking, but bottom line, it's a soup, like a stew made from cow's feet that has a lot of collagen. It's very healthy because you use a collagen. It's a bone broth there, but it's more about a ritual. So this traditionally eaten early in the morning, actually, and especially
yes.
in winter, often during social gatherings amongst friends and family.
Not to be
Uh,
hungry the entire day.
exactly, yeah.
It's very
So
cheap because hooves. How much are hooves?
I know,
And you
right?
just yeah.
And of course, they season it with garlic and salt, which is kind of common throughout the all of this USSR. Whenever I cook, I always make sure I have garlic. Dill is another big
Oh
one.
yeah. Garlic.
Salt, pepper. Not so much. I'm not big on pepper because I don't like spicy, but for me, it's garlic, onions, salt, and dill. Those are
Well, I
my
like Latino
staple.
food. That's why I like spicy.
So we got chibureki, we got hash. What's the third one? The third dish that
Well,
you would bring with you?
probably kebab, like shashlik.
Shashlik, the kebab.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for some reason, it was made of pork, which is very popular. And right now, I'm trying to eat it. Like, if I do it here, I do it from lamb. And lamb is like completely different story. It's
When
like
I was
much better. Well, my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no. My whenever we had gatherings back home, my mom would always marinate it with lots of spices. Mayonnaise was like a white marinade, and it was beef. It was usually beef, and then they would fry it on the actual open fire. I guess like grilling here, and it was just the
It's
best.
not open fire. It's the
it's like a grill, like a grill. Yeah,
it's firewood turning into
Yeah,
charcoal, and then
correct.
it's a heat over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's unbelievable.
It is. You know, I can talk about food. I have to have a separate episode just about food. There's so much to
Okay, count me in.
so much to talk about it. But now you motivated me to make my own bread.
Yeah. I like to do. We like to go like Outer Banks, North Carolina, Virginia Beach, and we go somewhere. You can do like on open fire. You can buy fish there, which is very fresh because it just came from And I like to cook. I just you put it and you just do it. You can do scallops. You can do all kind of salmon or tuna. I love tuna. Or mahi-mahi or anything like this. And shrimp. Shrimp, I can eat like probably I can eat 10 pounds of shrimp.
Oh my God! Well, Alex, this has been such a great conversation. I can talk to you forever. Just wealth of so much knowledge, and it's just so interesting and fascinating. It's just such a pleasure to learn about you, who you are, your journey, your story. As we're coming to the end, and I'm trying to wrap it up. What are your parting words? What do you want for Americans to know? And most importantly, second part of this question, what do you want your daughter to take?
Oh my God. As a father, I'm a father of 3 daughters and I have 2 grandkids. And I wish we don't have any war.
Yes, there you go.
Like people just forget about this. Like, can we just talk instead of fighting each other? I don't want my kids and my grandkids to live. It's another joke. Why, like aliens from outer space are not coming to like here because we're still fighting.
Yeah, I know.
We're not smart enough.
Joke, but it's a dark joke. Yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
Well, Alexei, thank you so much again for all your wisdom, for your time. It's been an absolute delight. Thank you so much, my dear listeners, for listening, for staying with me. I hope you found this episode interesting. I hope you learned something. I know I'm hungry now, and I'm ready to maybe get some stew going, or go look up the recipe of chiburek and start making that, and definitely going to give it a try. Making my own bread.
You can start from bread, yeah.
There you go. I will start from bread. Thank you. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to share this episode with a friend. Leave us a rating or a review. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Any feedback is absolutely very dear to me. I take it very close to heart. So I would love to hear any feedback, any questions you have. If you want me to interview you, or you have a story to share, or you know of somebody, please email me at kate@thesovietlife.com. Thanks again for joining me. Until next time,